Hi everyone, welcome to TGIF, another Friday, another episode. In one of the previous episodes, we had focused on a security topic, which is about information protection. Today, we're going to take the same discussion forward and bring in governance into the perspective. Yes, under the large umbrella of compliance, governance is very critical. So I'm pleased to welcome Shashank Kumar, who is a Senior Program Manager with our Compliance Engineering team at Microsoft India. Shashank, welcome to TGIF.
Thanks a lot, Sandeep, for having me here.
Wonderful. Shashank, quickly, in the previous episode on security, when I hosted Pawan, we spoke about information protection, right? In terms of know your data, protect your data, and govern, of course, right? And this time, I want to pick your brains on a topic which is compliance, and governance is so key there, right? So help us understand or decipher governance under the umbrella of compliance quickly.
Sure. So, Sandeep, as we have seen over the course of last decades or so, the enterprise data estate has multiplied manyfold. Generally, you would have seen the evolution in terms of inbox sizes. From MBs, it grew into GBs, and now it's closing down to terabytes. And if that's one average inbox, think multiply it to the number of employees at SharePoint sites, OneDrive sites, locations. We are talking in terabytes of data, hundreds of terabytes of data across an average organization. The fun fact is, lots of organizations don't actually need 85% of that data on an average. This again is basic research. And retaining or storing that data has implications not only on privacy, but also in terms of safety, because some of that data can be exfiltrated and result in a lot of loss. So that's one aspect. But there is the other 15% of data that needs to be dealt with differently. And that's where compliance comes in, because regulators want you to specifically keep a certain kind of data for a certain period of time and ensure that that data is not tampered with, that data has not been played around with, and display a proof of that. So that's where Microsoft steps in. In compliance umbrella, we have solutions dedicated to records management, solutions dedicated to information governance, and we help customers make sense of that terabytes of data. Yeah.
Wonderful. I think that's a very apt representation, Shashank. In fact, you said regulatory compliance, right? Let's talk about that. Considering India, PDP 2019, which is a draft regulatory right now, it may become real very soon. So help us understand, as customers in India, any business in India, how should they approach the very trail, which is compliance and governance? And as Microsoft, what do we have to offer for those customers in ensuring that they stay true to the regulatory?
Right. So, I mean, with due respect to PDP, I see it as yet another in a chain of 300 plus regulations that impact a lot of customers across India and outside, because we are not in an insular world, we are in a global world, and many Indian companies have employees and have businesses outside India as well. So if you look at the whole globe, the earth is flat kind of paradigm for business, you see there are 300 plus points of impact. And for an average customer, for an average entity, the start happens where they try to translate how this regulation impacts them. And that translation is very important, because all company has its own assets, its own employees, its own data. And the regulation is written in a language which perhaps doesn't exactly translate to it. So there is a whole lot of translation that is required, and customers spend disproportionate amount of resources and money trying to make sense of it. And our journey together with the customer happens right from that point itself. So for example, talking more closer home in case of PDP, the day that law is implemented, we will start with our compliance manager solution, where we will create an assessment template, and that should be ready as soon as the regulation is ready with some time gap. And what that solution does is it parses the regulation and translates it in a family of 8 or 9 controls, and within each control family, a set of finite number of actions that a customer can take in order to be compliant. I guess that's one of the primary challenges that a lot of customers face.
Also, just reflect on this one question, Shashank. So broadly, as Microsoft, the philosophy is to democratize technology, right? Making it simple for our customers. I'm sure the philosophy is true even with the compliance fee that we have, right?
Yep. So take for example GDPR. The moment GDPR was implemented across the world by the European Union, what it meant was there was a lot of chaos and confusion. So our philosophy of democratization is to simplify some of these things. And when we simplify, we understand that in order to simplify things, we also need to substantiate. And by substantiation, we mean that each control family that I talked about. Like if I take EU GDPR and parse it into simplified actions that a company can take, they would still need documentary evidence, that they would still need explainability. So by making it as simple to understand, we also help different parts of the customer's ecosystem.
Wonderful. I think that's brilliant, Shashank. In fact, within narrative, you pretty much covered information protection and governance largely. Otherwise, Shashank, thanks so much for your time. And again, to all viewers, thanks for watching us today. Happy Friday. Have a wonderful weekend ahead. Bye-bye.